Polyrhythms. Polyrhythms. That was probably the scariest word I'd ever heard in my music education the first time I heard it. Polyrhythms. So we're going to start a little 10-minute timer here on the Vintage Casio. I've got 10 minutes to explain polyrhythms. This is going to be hard. I'm not going to lie. This is like my third or fourth take. Trying to do this with no editing. See how we go. We're going to focus on the 3/4 polyrhythm. So, very briefly, what that means is one hand is playing loops of 4, the other hand is playing loops of 3. It sounds like this. Alright, so in that case, my right hand is playing loops of 3, left hand is playing loops of 4. So, I'm going to try and verbalize what I'm doing, which is actually a little bit difficult, but I'll try and break that down a second time before we slow things down. Just try it this way first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so kind of the idea behind polyrhythms that makes them cool is that both hands start off on a rhythmic journey in the same place, in that we hit them both at the same time. And then they diverge on slightly separate train tracks, I suppose, on their rhythmic journey, and then they meet back together and hit together once more. So if you can kind of visualize that, it might make this a little more exciting, because otherwise it's just mathematics, and that's not so exciting for me personally. So, right, so let's do that same thing again. We're going to slow it down a little more, and if that's still like the most confusing thing ever, there is an even better way to explain this that I'm leaving to second. So here we go. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So again, just to recap, left hand's playing 4, right hand's playing 3. Difficult explanation has concluded. We're going to come back to that. We're going to go to a much easier, much more fun, and a slightly rude, but easy to remember way to explain this. We can just create a rhyme that matches the rhythm. So this one is, pass the goddamn butter. I said it was rude. It's fun to do it in different accents. If you're getting bored with this training, I recommend the British accent. It's pretty fun. Anyway, one more time. Pass the goddamn butter. 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 Pass. Starting to feel very impatient, but I can imagine maybe like a table of drummers, and maybe it's like the one appropriate place to use that, because it's a fairly famous explanation for this polyrhythm. So that's one way to remember how that rhythm sounds. The next thing we're going to do is break it down into together, left, and right. So, together, left, right, left, right, left. 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 together, left, right, left, together. Actually, I think that's maybe my favorite way to, I guess, explain this particular polyrhythm. So after those 3 methods of explanation, I hope one of them has hit the mark and you understand a little bit about what we're doing. So let's make it a little more musical now. We've just been playing on our knees, which doesn't sound amazing. Let's move on to the cajon, and we're going to put the 3 on the bass, the 4 on the snare, like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Bass. I knew I couldn't say that while playing it. We know 3 is on the bass. I'm sorry, let's continue. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snare, snare. Together, left, right, left, right, left. Together, left, right, left, left. Together, left, right, left, left. Together, left, right, left. Pass the goddamn butter. Pass the goddamn butter. Pass the goddamn butter. Pass the goddamn butter. Oh. Alright, so I hope that has made sense so far. I'm going to check the old watch over here. Still got a bit of time. So, again, I might have mentioned the most important thing is not to remember the rhythm and the humorous rhyme, although that will help you play this. The idea is to exercise your rhythmic mind to a higher level than simply memorizing the pattern. And to do that, I really recommend trying to, and I expect maybe the same as me, fail many times, but try to verbalize one of the hands and then verbalize the other hand. So what I mean is, I'm going to say what my right hand's doing. I'm going to kind of take what I learnt from Mike Johnson at this point, who's kind of my biggest inspiration in online music education, I suppose. And we're going to take the right hand up onto the bass drum of the body. That sounds alright, right? So, I'm going to count this and verbalize it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit your knee hard. Hit your knee hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Hit your knee hard. Hit your knee hard. Hit your chest hard. It makes a bass sound. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together, left, right, left. Together, left, right, left. Together, left, right, left. Together, left, right, left. Cool. Okay, so there's, I think, the main exercise, right? Because at that point, you're mentally separating those 2 processes. This is getting probably way more in-depth than it needs to, but I think for this to be interesting and valuable, it needs to not just be a rhythm that you learned, but it needs to be a concept that you were able to understand. And I have only kind of just understood it. This like mathematical side of music is very difficult for me, but I think just getting this one thing together has helped me a lot. So, coming up to the end of the video now, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Experiment on the cajon. You might like to switch it so that you've got the, like, I guess flip the rhythm so that the 4 is on the bass, 3 is on the snare. Ah! And then the last thing, I'm gonna run out of time.